with love. And love is in love with me. My body is in love with the soul. And the soul is in love with my body. I open my arms to love. And love embraced me like a lover.
So we're on day 7, even though in theory it's kind of like 8 days since we started, but I decided that sometimes you need a bit of time to absorb stuff. I need a day off. When this runs as a when this runs as a proper program, but a full in-depth program as it is planned to do, there will be more time in between sessions, and you'll have a lot more support from me so that we can go through exactly really weeding out what your disempowered beliefs are and possibly discovering where they came from. You don't need to know where they came from. Sometimes it's just fascinating to realize, sometimes, especially money beliefs are probably one of the easiest ways of demonstrating how we have absorbed beliefs from other people, because everyone has their own money beliefs. And if you think, well, I don't really have any, think of things that either you say or that you've heard other people say. The most common being things like money doesn't grow on trees, money doesn't make you happy, money's the root of all evil, we don't have enough, we can't afford it, you don't need that. They're all beliefs. They are all beliefs. Anytime you say something about money, like, oh, I can't afford that, that's too expensive, they are all money beliefs, believe it or not. Excuse the pun. But yeah, even if you say something like, I can't afford that, is a money belief. It's you saying, I cannot afford that. What you're actually really saying is, I don't deserve that. When you say, I can't afford that, you're actually saying, I don't deserve it. And you might think, well, I really can't afford it because I haven't got enough money in my bank. But irrespective, what you really mean is, it doesn't align with you right now. You don't have the funds in your immediate grasp right now. Doesn't mean it's too expensive. I mean, and this really came up for me a couple of years ago when I was doing a program, one of my programs I do, because I still have a coach as well. I still have a coach and a mentor, because everyone could do with having a mentor to keep them on their toes, to keep them growing, keep them evolving. And I wanted to do this program, and it was quite expensive. For me, that's another money belief. Quite expensive. No, I should rephrase that. It was more expensive than any other program I'd done up to that point. And I was hesitant to do the program because it was more expensive than any previous program I'd done. But there was a payment plan that I could pay weekly, and I realized that the amount it would cost me weekly, I easily spent that on my ponies, on my animals, put it all together and purchase more. But I realized that I do not question what my animals need, how much I spend. In fact, sometimes I think, it's like incredible how much they cost me. But I don't stop to think, I don't think they're worthy, because I love my animals. And the same as if you've got children, you probably don't think twice about spending money on your children. And yet when it comes to you, now you need to question yourself about that. Have you ever wanted something but thought, I can't justify spending that much on myself? And yet you have easily spent that much and more on someone you love, your partner, your children, whatever. That is a real red flag for, sorry, really my nose. That is a real red flag. That is a sign of you feeling unworthy. If you would, without question, spend £100, whatever, on your fur baby, your partner, your child, and yet you would not spend a tenner on yourself, that is a lack of self-worth. It's nothing to do with money. It's nothing to do with how much you do or don't have. It is purely and simply lack of self-worth. You are consciously or unconsciously saying, I'm not worthy of spending this much money. And this is what made me sign up for this program, because I thought to myself, I easily spend that a week on my horses. So me saying I can't afford it, that is saying I don't value myself. And I don't want that to be my reality. I want to value myself. And here's the thing I should just point out, as it just popped into my head. When we are changing our beliefs, you don't need to believe it right away, okay? You don't need to 100% believe it right away. The willingness to change your beliefs, the willingness to want to believe something different is enough for now. Because you might think, well, I can't, I've felt this way for so long, I've had this belief for so long, I can't just snap out of it overnight. No, you can't. You can't. But the willingness to want to believe something else, the willingness to want your reality to be different, that is the first step. And the first step is often a massive step. Imagine going through a doorway and you've got to climb over a bloody great step to get through this doorway. You've got over the hardest part. The rest of it is kind of like just a matter of repetition. But the willingness to change what you believe is the big thing. And as long as you're willing to do that, it's like another example. I started off like looking at myself in the mirror every day, looking at literally into my eyes and saying to myself, like, I love you, I'm proud of you. Although you may not look the way I would like, I am willing to love you unconditionally. And when I first started doing it, it felt so uncomfortable. So uncomfortable. I would just look and pick on the bits that I didn't like pick on the sides of my nose, pick on the lines and the grey hairs and this, that and the other. But I was ready and willing. I wanted to like what I saw in the mirror. I wanted to not hate it. And that's the thing. You don't necessarily have to love yourself straight away, but wanting to not hate yourself is the biggest hurdle. Wanting to like what you see in the mirror is the biggest hurdle, and not to hate it. So when it comes to changing your beliefs, you're probably not going to believe it straight away. And we'll talk about ways of doing it so that it becomes more believable. But being willing to want to believe something different, to want to think something different, to want to behave differently is like getting in the door. Once you're in through the door, everything is kind of like pretty easy after that. Doesn't mean pretty simple. Doesn't mean it's easy. Doesn't mean it's going to happen overnight, but you've got past the big hurdle. So always keep that in mind, that things aren't just going to magically, boom, yes, I suddenly think I'm wonderful, blah, blah, blah. It's going to take practice. But as long as you're making the conscious decisions, like when I say about self-love, when you make the conscious decision that you are going to start loving yourself instead of hating yourself, that you're going to start praising yourself instead of criticizing yourself, that you're going to start liking what you see instead of hating what you see, that you're going to start focusing on the things that you do like instead of the things that you don't like. That is half the battle. You don't need to know how, when, where, or why. Once you've made that conscious decision, it's kind of like smoother sailing. You've got over the biggest hurdle, and then it's just literally patient persistence. Practice. That's all it is. But there will be times when your old thoughts and old beliefs pop up. But that's what I mean when I said, some of your beliefs can be passed down. In fact, a lot of our beliefs are passed down. They're either passed down from us, they're things that we've heard our parents say or our grandparents say or whatever, or it's because something's happened to us. Like, as I said the other day, you may have a relationship where someone cheats on you and you're like, that's it, all men cheat or all women cheat or whatever, and you create a belief that way. And we never challenge them. We're like, this is the way it is, and that's it. But I want you to close your eyes for a moment. I want you to close your eyes, turn your senses inwards, just take a few deep breaths and notice how you feel, notice any sensations, notice if you're holding any tension in your body. And I'm going to tell you something that is absolutely true. And this absolute truth is you are divine. You are perfect, just as you are. You are, and always have been, good enough. You are a divine spiritual being having a human experience. And life, the universe, God, source, whatever you want to call it, wants you to succeed. Life wants you to be happy, to be prosperous, to be abundant. Life wants you to live each day with excitement and prosperity. And I want you to notice, how does that make you feel? How does that make you feel when I say that? When I say all that, when I say that you are perfect just as you are. And being perfect just as you are doesn't mean that you are perfect as in without fault, because there's, doesn't exist. But what it means is there is nothing wrong with you. There is nothing that needs fixing. There is nothing broken. There is nothing that is not good enough, even as you become a better version of yourself. And here's the other thing, and I think I mentioned it the other day, there is no there to get to. There is no there to get to. So it's not like when I get here, I'll be good enough. When I've done this, I'll be good enough. When I've achieved X, Y, Z, I'll be good enough. We work on the basis and the truth that you are already good enough. Everybody is good enough, because, and this is why I got you to do the homework, what is this good enough? What is good enough? What is this mythical good enough? And if you manage to write out what you think is good enough, I want to see it. I want to read what you've written. If you can't, it's because your soulful self, your unconscious mind, already knows that there is no such thing as good enough. Because we all are. We all are already good enough. We're already worthy. We've just been brought up in a society that has taught us, and it's a lot to do with advertising and stuff like that, that has taught us that we need to earn the right to be good enough, that we need X, Y, Z, we need to have this gadget, we need to look like this, we need to dress like this, we need to act like this in order to be good enough, in order to be worthy, in order to be beautiful. And that's bullshit. We've been fed these lies, basically, and we've fallen for them. And it's so sad that we often spend the first half of our life trying to fit in with this kind of like ideal that actually, when you look at it, is ever changing. And realize that, we've bought into lies. Manufacturers are paid millions to convince you that you are lacking in some way. They are paid millions to brainwash you into thinking that you will feel happier, you will look better, you will be more worthy if you buy this, if you wear this, if you eat this, if you drink this, if you act like this. And it's all lies. It's no wonder. It surprises me not at all that the rise in stress, anxiety, depression mirrors the rise in social media. It does not surprise me at all. If we did not have social media with our photoshopping, with our Instagram selfies, if we did not have magazines telling us that this is how you should look and how you should act, it's like, this is what you should be wearing this summer, whatever the fuck you want. If we did not have all those things, if we did not have mirrors, and we had none of those advertising things, would we question our worth? Would we question whether we're pretty enough? Would we question whether we're good enough? If we had no idea, one of the reasons we are so stressed nowadays and so anxious is because we now get an unprecedented look into other people's lives, a look at, something that never happened before. So we are able to convince ourselves that everyone else is happier than us, that is more successful than us, that it is better than us. Whereas before, I never used to judge my life or myself anywhere near as much until I got into social media. Never questioned it. But the downside, the dark side of things like social media is it can make us feel less than. And we're always trying to live up to something. It's like we're trying to get to the end of the rainbow. We're trying to reach a certain ideal that we think will make us happy, or that we think will be the way we want to be, we'll be successful, blah, blah, blah. We're chasing the end of a rainbow. When actually what we need to do, instead of adding stuff to our life, is to take stuff away. Is to take away the comparison, is to take away the shoulds, is to take away the the false belief that we need to be, look, or act a certain way in order to be worthy, that life is a competition, that, you know, why would someone want to work with me when there are better people out there? Why would someone want to be in a relationship with me when there are better people out there? And that is all due to kind of like the negative stories that we're being fed and that our ego latch onto. Because think of it this way, just go back to the work example, you know, because I know some of you are starting a new business and you may think, why would people want to work with me? Why on earth do people want to work with me? There's loads of people out there. Now, I probably mentioned this the other day that I've got two friends, two particular friends who are also coaches, and I love them to pieces. But they're, I would not work with them because our energy is a mismatch. I'm kind of like quite snappy, punchy, want it, blah, 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 blah. They are very measured, very slow, very deliberate. And a lot of people love that. A lot of people love that calming energy. Whereas I find myself kind of sitting there going, spit it out, come on, spit it out. But that's the thing. A lot of people love that because that's what they want. But a lot of people love my kind of like, no bullshit, this is how it is, blah, 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 energy. And that is the thing. We are attracted to certain things. If you think of the people you like, you know, people maybe you have gone to a certain hairdresser or a certain restaurant, anything that you like, there will be other people who don't like it. And that's okay, because it goes back to the idea of limits, the idea of there's only so many people around. So most of my students obviously absolutely love my yoga, love my Pilates. But I've had people come over the years who didn't like it, who didn't come back. And that's fine. But it took me a long time to realize that just because someone didn't like it, it didn't mean that I wasn't good at what I do. It just meant that I was not a match for them. It's like you are not attracted romantically to every man that you meet. But does it mean there's something wrong with those guys? Does it mean there's anything wrong with that, with those men? No, of course not. You're just not a match. And that is the thing. When we have those, or someone the other day was saying, oh, am I too old to find love again? She's the same age as me. And it's like, if you have that attitude, yes, you will. There is someone out there. We tend to think in terms of limits. We are 1 in billions. And we have access to the whole planet. We live in a time where we have access to the whole planet. We're not just restricted to our town or village anymore. So of course, there is going to be someone out there who loves you exactly the way you are. And you only need one. So you might meet 100 people who do not match with you, but that's okay because you only need one. So yes, you, as you are perfect for someone. And I've got to the stage now where I think I would rather be Marmite. I would rather people either really love me or really hate me than be like, yeah, she's all right. Yeah, oh yeah, Donna, who's that? Oh yeah. I would rather be like, oh my God, I love her, or no, I don't like her, than be in the middle. So whatever you want to do, whether you want to attract a relationship, whether you're starting a new business, just keep that in mind, that there will be out there who hate what you do, who don't want what you do, but there will be lots who do. So starting from the basis that you are perfectly good enough as you are. You are perfect as you are. Doesn't mean you're without faults, because none of us are without faults. Doesn't mean you're without flaws, and it does not mean that there aren't things you might want to tweak and change. You know, I'm always looking at ways that I can improve myself, ways I can improve my daily routines, ways I can improve my productivity, always, because that's how it should be. Tweaking things, changing things as we change, as the seasons change, as our energy changes. You know, we are not robots. We are not a case of like just program us in and that's it for the rest of our life. But it's being constant and never-ending improvement, which is what Tony Robbins calls it. Constant and never-ending improvement. Knowing that we are good enough as we continually become an even better version of ourselves. So a better version of the us we were last week, that we were the year before, that we were the year before that. That doesn't mean you aren't good enough now. So also ask yourself, how do you feel when I say you are what you believe yourself to be? You are what you believe yourself to be. Because there are people out there who are way older, way less attractive, for want of a better word, way less, I've got way less skills than you, who are successful. Who are, I mean, you may have seen it sometimes. You may see women who, to look at them, they don't fit the ideal of what is beautiful, and yet they're like a magnet because of their energy. You know, they attract many. You might see, you know, larger, kind of like overweight women who you wouldn't automatically think fit the ideal of Love Island or whatever, and yet men swarm to them because of their energy. And as I say, there are people out there, there are coaches, there are therapists, there are teachers who don't have as much knowledge as you, who are nowhere near as skilled as you, who are killing it because of their energy and because they decide that they want to believe that people want to work with them. I mean, my yoga teaching, for example, has changed just like God knows how much since I first started. If you were to go back to see my very first class, it has just changed and improved and grown and just, yeah, so much. But does that mean I wasn't any good in the beginning? No, it doesn't mean that. I was a good teacher in the beginning. I've just got better. My knowledge has expanded. My own personal practice has expanded. I've gained new skills. But doesn't mean I wasn't any good. So whatever it is you want to do, whatever it is you want to attract into your life, we need to get rid of the notion that you need to be a certain way or look a certain way, or you need to have as many certificates on the wall as whatever. You can attract everything that you desire right now. Right now. And the other thing is, we can, just as we can outgrow people, other people can outgrow us. So just take, for example, yoga. I say my teaching has evolved over the years, just massively. But I know a lot of kind of village hall, what I call village hall classes, which, you know, I have done my own, tend to be mixed ability. So if you are someone who wants to then advance your practice, you may decide that you're not getting enough from that class and you want to move on. But that doesn't mean that that teacher is no good. It just means you've gone as far as you can with that teacher. And so we can outgrow people and people can outgrow us. But that does not mean that we have not got a place in this world. That does not mean that what we offer isn't worthy. And just as a side, it just popped into my head, I would recommend reading a lady called Tosha Silver. Tosha Silver. I absolutely adore her. I've listened to her on audiobooks. But she says things that just make you see things in a totally different way. And one of the things that I've started doing is affirming that I offer a service that relieves suffering. Because it is so true. I offer a service that relieves suffering. You know, I can help people relieve the suffering of their limiting beliefs that have stopped them getting the job they want, the career they want, the relationship they want. And if you want to go and be an NLP coach or a yoga teacher for kids, you are going to be offering a service that relieves suffering. You're going to make people's lives better, and that has a ripple effect. So whatever it is you want to do, even if you're just starting out, does not matter. Your services are needed. There is a place for you in this world. It's like one big giant jigsaw. If we were all the same size and shape, we wouldn't fit together. So there is a place for you in this world. And again, I go back to the beginning. Life, the universe, God, Shakti, whatever you want to call it, wants you to succeed. The only reason why some people succeed and live prosperous, abundant lives, live their dream lives, doing the things that they're passionate about, and that most of us don't, is because those who do did not stop. Those who do did not question, am I worthy? Or they may have done, but they didn't let it stop them. You know, imagine Ed Sheeran stopping and thinking, oh, do I really deserve to be paid? Am I going to get anywhere? You know, when he was in a pub with like 2 or 3 people, or when he was busking on the street, did he stop and think, well, I'm obviously not worthy. I'm obviously not good enough. You know, I'm not worthy of doing something I'm passionate about. He kept going. And there are a million stories of people like him. You know, Ed Sheeran now making a fortune because he didn't question, is there a place for me? Or if he, as I say, he did, he pushed through. And that's another thing I should point out as well, as it's popped up. You will always have fears and doubts. Fears and doubts will always pop into your mind. Even the most successful, the most talented people I know still occasionally have fears and doubts. What you can do is make the conscious choice to not allow those fears and doubts to derail you. They will come up. And I think once you know that this will happen, you can be prepared for it. Because I went through cycles for, God, a couple of years where like I'd be, yeah, right, yes, I'm doing this, woohoo, blah, blah, blah. And then I'd have like a week of like, I can't do it, I'm not good enough, maybe I should quit. You know, no one wants me, blah, 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 blah. And I realized that it was part of my cycle. And it tended to happen when I felt tired. And as soon as those disempowering negative thoughts kind of take grip, you then start to feel more crap. The more crap you feel, the more negative thoughts, and it started getting sucked into the loop. Now I catch myself as soon as I start having those, oh, I'm not getting anywhere, blah, blah, blah. I kind of like go, I've been here before. I remember this. I've been here before. I'm not going to allow these thoughts to drag me down, and you try and do something else. I could go into this in a lot more detail, excuse me, but I haven't got time. But there are ways and things to learn how your ego will every now and again pop up, no matter how successful you are, whether you've got 1 client, whether you've got 10,000, whether you've got 1 person asking you for a date, whether you've got 10,000. There will be times, and you'll probably notice if you become self-aware, that it happens in cycles, and you'll also notice that the thoughts are pretty much the same thoughts each time, and you can become aware of them. So you are what you believe. So I asked you way back in the beginning to write down all the reasons why you are not worthy, why you are not good enough. And I haven't had any back yet, so I'm still waiting. If you can give me reasons why you are not worthy. But here's the thing, some of the reasons you may think in your head come from stories that you've told yourself, or you may have been the kind of victim of someone else's stories. Like, for example, my first serious boyfriend was quite emotionally manipulative. The amount of times he'd say things to me, things like, oh, no one else will want you. No one else will have you. And so that's a negative story. My stepdad, occasionally, if I did something stupid, I can't remember what I did, but would occasionally say things like, have you got shit for brains? And so those kind of things, we can turn them into a belief. We can turn them into, especially if we're told them over and over. If we're told them, you know, more than once, it can become our truth. And the thing is, we can take a negative experience and find evidence for it. But the thing is, we can take any experience and find evidence for it. So we can take a negative experience, like no one else will want me, and we can find evidence by me going out and asking 100 guys, would you go on a date with me? Now, if 50 of them said no, I could say, well, there's your evidence. There's your evidence that no one else will want me. But 50 of them said yes. I said, okay, I can turn it around. Is there evidence that someone will want me? Yes, because 50% of them said yes. But here's the thing. We have a thing called the negativity bias. And now this goes back to being in the cavemen when we had to be all on the lookout for danger all the time. So we are genetically programmed to focus on the negative more than the positive. So out of 100 people, if it was 50-50 split, we would focus on the negative. We'd say, well, 50% said no. And that's a negativity bias. Instead of saying, well, actually, 50% said yes. It's like having 99 compliments, 1 criticism, and you're focused on the criticism. That is the negativity bias. Or saying that, it's not safe to cross the road, when actually thousands of people cross the road thousands of times a day, and out of those thousands of times, very few actually get hit by a car. But we can find evidence for either. So we can start to turn it around and create a positivity bias. But we need to do it consciously. We need to be conscious of it, so that if we do get a positive comment, focus on that instead of the one negative comment. And an attitude of gratitude, that sort of thing, will also help to create a positivity bias, which we'll go into another time. So, and we can find evidence against our self-limiting beliefs. So to change our self-limiting beliefs, we first need to identify them. So you should have done that on Saturday or Friday. I asked you to write out your self-limiting beliefs, your disempowering beliefs. And once you have written them down, I would advise picking the ones that you feel are holding you back the most right now. Because if you've got a whole shitload, you might want to work at them one at a time. And affirmations are a powerful, powerful way of changing your beliefs. What I should say is positive affirmations, because we are actually affirming all the time. I'm always late. I never get anything right. I always get things wrong. I'm always the last to do blah, 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 blah. They are all affirmations. They're just disempowering ones. So we are actually constantly affirming, just not consciously. So our affirmations, our words become our reality, but they need to be used correctly. A lot of people say, oh, affirmations don't work for me, blah, 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 but they don't use them correctly. And ways that that they aren't used correctly. 1, we say something that we don't believe. 2, we don't say them enough. And 3, we don't say them with passion. Those are the reasons they don't work. So we don't write them correctly, we don't say them often enough, and we don't say them with passion. So just an example, say you wanted to lose weight, just as an example. You go around saying, I am slim, 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 is not going to magically make it happen. And in the back of your head, your subconscious mind is going, well, that's complete bullshit. I'm not fucking slim, I'm still blah, 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 blah. So what you get then is you're saying one thing, your energy is saying another, and you just get confusion. It's a bit like saying, I'm looking for a relationship. I'm ready for a relationship. But in the back of your mind, you're thinking, well, all men are cheats, all men are liars, blah, 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 blah. It's a disconnect. So instead, you'd want to say something like, and I know it's more of a mouthful, I love making healthy food choices as I move towards being my optimum weight. And yes, it's not as snappy as I am slim, but it's the truth, because you want to say an affirmation in the present tense, as in it's true right now. But saying you're slim right now is not true, because you haven't magically dropped 5 stone or whatever. But saying something, I love making healthy food choices, that's what you want to be the truth. We all know that chocolate tastes better than lettuce. Just a fact of life. So you're going to say what you want to be true. I love making healthy food choices as I move towards, or as I become, my optimum weight. So it is true, and it's not in the future. It's set in the present tense. And it's something that, as I say, is true. It's what you want to be true, and it's something that you can believe in. So you may struggle with making healthy food choices, but you want to be able to enjoy making healthy food choices. So saying something like, I love making healthy food choices as I move towards being my optimum weight. So there's no mention of being thin. It's not saying something that isn't true. It's the truth, and it's also believable, even though it's more of a mouthful. Or another simple ones are, I am rich, I am rich, I am rich, I am rich, or I am a money magnet. If you have not sorted out your money story, your money beliefs, saying, I'm a money magnet, I'm a money magnet, I'm a magnet for money, is not going to work at all if you have not dealt with your money story, dealt with your limiting beliefs. But saying something like, I am open and receptive to all abundance, blessings, and miracles. Yes, it's more of a mouthful, but it's true. You are saying, I am open. I am open, and I'm open and receptive to receiving. I'm not quite sure if I believe it yet, but I'm open and receptive. Remember what I said earlier about getting through that door, making the conscious decision, deciding that you want to think something differently is half the battle. You're through the doorway. And once you've got through that doorway, it's a lot easier from there. So saying I'm open and receptive to abundance and blessings is more realistic. I can feel my hands, feel energy in my hands, like woo. Or you may have a story like, oh, I'm too old. I'm too old to start a new career. I'm too old to start a business. You could change it to, I am gifted with wisdom that is a blessing when it comes to starting a new business. I am gifted with wisdom that is a blessing when it comes to starting a new business. This is why I say work on one or two at a time. And if and when you're getting imposter syndrome and you have a story like, oh, no one will want me, no one will want to work with me, or with relationships, no one's going to love me, blah, 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 blah. Try an affirmation like, the right people are attracted to my energy, knowledge, and skills. The right people are attracted to my energy, knowledge, and skills. So what I want you to do is, if you haven't already, write down your self-limiting beliefs, your disempowering beliefs. And if there are quite a few, choose maybe 4 or 5 that are real stumbling blocks right now. And then write what you want to believe. What do you want to believe? If you took away all fear, doubt, whatever, what do you want to believe? What do you want to be true? So like I talked about me saying, having one of my beliefs was life is a competition, and for me to win, someone else has to lose, blah, blah, blah. Scarcity mindset. So what I want to be true, which I know is true now, is that there is enough for everyone. There is enough for everyone. So what do you want to be true? So if you think you are too old to start a new relationship or start a new career, you want to believe that you're never too old. And you can find, you can find, if you go looking for it, plenty of evidence of people who have changed career, who have started a business when they're older. So you can find that it is true. Everything that you believe or everything that you want to believe is the actual truth. And then when you've done that, you're going to write out an affirmation for those beliefs and put it in the present tense. So for example, I am attracting the perfect person to me, and everything happens at exactly the right time. So like for me, that is one that I would write for me, because I'm now ready and open to the possibility of another relationship. But I'm not desperate, I'm not grasping, and I'm not like, I know if I'm like, oh God, there's no good men around, I would repel them all. So that would work for me. I am attracting the perfect person to me, and everything happens at exactly the right time. Because here's something that it's too big a subject to cover right now. Things happen not in our timeline. So we may want a perfect partner by the 1st of August this year. Things don't happen on our timeline. And our hardest part for us is maintaining that faith when things don't happen now. But again, that's too big a subject for right now. So identify the self-limiting beliefs that are holding you back the most. Write what you want to be true. So if it's something to do with your age, what you want to be true is that women your age can and are successful in business. Women your age can and are be successful in finding an exciting, passionate relationship. Women your age can and do whatever they want to do. Then write your affirmation. And if you have problems, as Miss Lulu's bottom, if you have problems writing your affirmation, just let me know. You know, that's what I'm here for. So if you need some help and advice in how best to write it, just reach out. And when you've done that, you're going to get some post-it notes or a bit of paper and sellotape, and you're going to stick your affirmations around the house. And you're going to say those affirmations several times a day. I mean, I've got some on my light switches. I've got some in my mirror upstairs on my wardrobe. And you're going to say them whenever you see them, but you're also going to make a conscious effort to say them every single day. But you're not just going to say them once. Remember a moment ago I said about people not saying them with passion? Just saying, I'm rich, or yes, I'm open to abundance, I'm open to prosperity. Where's the energy in that? What energy is that? Do you believe that? Yeah, I'm ready and open. Do you believe that? No. So what I get people to do is say them several times, emphasizing different words. So, for example, where's it gone? I am open and receptive to all abundance and blessings. I am open and receptive to all abundance and blessings. I am open and receptive to all abundance and blessings. I am open and receptive to all abundance and blessings. But notice the energy. You know, if I was to say, yeah, I am open, you would not believe me. Whereas if I am open, it's like being in the gospel choir in the churches, like more like in America, where we're like, yes, Jesus Christ, whoa. You find yourself caught up in the energy, and everything is energy. Remember, everything is energy. You have to have the energy. If you're just saying, yes, I'm open for a miracle, life is not going to give it to you. Whereas if you're like, yes, I am open, I'm ready, give it to me, you're more likely to attract. Remember, the law of attraction is your vibrations attract to you the thing that you desire, and you need to keep your vibrations high. So that's what you want to do every day. Say those affirmations, even have them in your car, wherever you are. Memorize them. So when you feel yourself starting to slip into fear, self-doubt, negative self-talk, you can repeat. And this is exactly what I do. When I find myself slipping into fear, doubt, all those kind of things, is I begin affirming what I want to be true. So I change my thoughts, because when you're starting to feel crappy thoughts, you feel crappy. It's like, oh, I'm never going to succeed. Oh, I can't do this. And you wither. So you can change your energy by changing what you're thinking. The second part is become aware of your self-talk. Really, you really need to monitor everything that's going through your mind, what you say to and about yourself. You need to be so conscious, because it is so easy to get sucked into that. Oh, this isn't working out for me. Oh, I can't seem to get it right. Oh, I may as well give up. No one's going to want to work with me. This is a complete failure. And you get sucked down. So you need to be so aware of your self-talk, so that you can catch yourself, like I just said. Because we can get sucked into that kind of negativity without even really noticing it. It's like, because it's become such a habit, you know, one little, oh, I just can't seem to get it right. Oh, no one wants to work with me. No one's spoken to me today, blah, blah, blah. And we're sucked down before we know it. So we need to be so aware. We need to be like a gatekeeper at the door of our mind. And any kind of like negative, disempowering thoughts that try and sneak in, we're like, nope, not today. So that we keep a high vibration. And you will need to work at it. Sometimes you need to work harder than others. Sometimes it's fucking hard work to lift yourself up when it seems that nothing is going your way, when it seems that no matter how hard you try, you're not getting anywhere, when it seems like you're trying to walk up a down escalator, you will want to quit. You will want to go back to your disempowering beliefs. That is when you're going to need to be on the ball with your affirmations. And when you've got them there on bits of paper, those days when you're feeling really low, those days when you're really struggling, every time I look at mine, sometimes I don't realize I'm struggling until I look at them, and they lift me up. Every time I look at them and I read them and I say them out loud or in my head, they lift me up. So that is another reason why I say have them around your house, in your car, in your bag. I used to have them in my phone, wherever. And be aware of your thoughts. And the third thing is, I've just kind of touched on it, is to realize and be aware that you will fall back into those fears, into those disempowering ways of thinking and believing. But practice makes progress. And say we want everything to happen like that. We want like Uber, Google, Amazon, Domino's Pizza, whatever. We want everything now. But if I was just to start saying today, oh, my soulmate is here, he's already selected, and then by tomorrow morning I get up, someone he hasn't arrived yet. That's it doesn't work. That's how we kind of behave. We're kind of like, oh, it's not happened yet, it's not working. Affirmations don't work. I tried it for a day, nothing's working. Just, yeah. You need to keep going, because what you want is way over here. You're over here just having discovered your self-limiting beliefs. You're over here making changes. What you want is up here. And at the minute, you're kind of going like that. So as you move forward, they move forward. If you do not change your thoughts and beliefs, what will happen is that you'll go in opposite directions. But the more you work on what you're doing, what happens is, as you're moving forward, you will gradually get closer and closer, and then you start getting fearful and thinking it's not working. So you go like that again. And you're getting closer and closer and closer, and then you have a bad day. It's like, no, it's not working, and you go like that again. Or it goes, woo, and goes straight past you. It takes work, it takes effort, but it becomes easier. The more you do it, you'll notice you can catch yourself when those thoughts kind of kick in, when the imposter syndrome kicks in. You'll find you can catch yourself more and more easily each time. And especially, I think, when I discovered that someone who I admire greatly, who is really good at what they do, she's my business coach, she's really good at what she does, she's very successful. When I discovered that she still has fears and doubts, there's a part of me that's like, oh, shit, oh my God, that's really bad. Because that means I'll never get over it. That means, I'm always going to have fear and doubt pop up. But then I turned it around and thought, well, actually, no, that's actually good. Because if someone that successful, that good at what they do, if they still have fear and doubt, that means it's perfectly normal, it's perfectly human to have those fears and doubts. And actually, it's not possible to be completely without fear and doubt. It's not possible. It's not humanly possible to be without fear and doubt completely. But what we can do is look at that fear and doubt. What we can do is be ready for it, and you may notice that your cycles are in tune with the moon, in tune with your hormones, or when you're tired, or when you're hungry, or whatever, you will start to notice a pattern, that they start to come up kind of like clockwork, maybe every 3 weeks, whatever, every 2 weeks, whatever. And there'll be the same kind of thoughts over and over again. Usually like, I can't do this. No one wants me, blah, 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 blah. And you become more and more able to go, we're going through this again, are we? Okay. Yeah, no, I'm not going to think that. No, I refuse to think that. And you go back to your affirmations, you lift your vibration up again, and you move forward. Any questions? Please drop them below. Speak to me. Do your homework. If you need help writing your affirmations, let me know. I notice that sometimes when I talk, my tongue, there's a little thing at the side there. It's funny. Something I never knew I did until watching myself on video. But yes, have an amazing rest of the day. I'm going to look for it now. A few years ago, I would never have done videos because I didn't want to look at my face on camera. That is the honest truth. I did not like looking at myself. So if I did do a video, I would do it in really bad lighting so no one could see me. And I finally realized that people don't give a shit what I look like. People care about what I say. People care about how I make them feel. And it's my energy, my words, not what I look like. So I got over myself. And now I'm like, woohoo! So yeah, any help, just let me know. Mwah. Love to you.